Hello. Listen, I want to ask you a question. And you've probably heard this phrase before. Perception is reality. Now, I'd like to know how many of you have heard this before and if you believe this. And I'm going to share a little story and see if I can shift any thoughts or if maybe I validate your thoughts for you. So my name's Tammy, for those who don't know, and I run an organization called Nurse Minder, and within that I talk about how to conquer conflict, not just for nurses, for healthcare workers, for those who are just in other professions as well, for moms, for kids. I help others safely construct conversations so they can conquer conflict before conflict conquers you. And today in our masterclass we were talking about perception. And I thought I would share this with you as well. So in terms of perception is reality, we use that a lot to justify our feelings, to justify our truth. And what happens as a result of that statement is it almost makes us feel powerful in trusting our senses. Well, here's the sad thing. Sometimes they're not right. And we never know that because we don't allow for another reality to exist because we've already determined it. So I don't know if you know this, but there's actually 4 steps to perceiving things accurately. And we are super good at 3 of them, and we suck at the 4th one. And that is where the magic is. And so I'm thinking perception is reality is more on the big lie side, because what I believe it is perception is potential reality. Now, hear me out. It is easy to look at somebody who comes late to work or maybe late home from work and think of them as irresponsible, disrespectful, that they intended to hurt you or disappoint you, right? I mean, how many of you have been there before, right? You can just add in the comments, yes, I've been there, I've thought that same thing. I've been there too. I'm married 20 years, so of course, I've been in the workforce for many years, working multiple different areas. And of course, it's easy to look at somebody and judge them by a standard in which I expect myself and of others. Now, here's the problem. We don't give them space to actually show us what their reality is. So we become judge, jury, and we keep them stuck. We do not let them outside of that little box of being disrespectful. And those are the first 3 steps of perception, right? So the first step is we select something to pay attention to. Now, somebody coming late to work stands right out. Easy to see that because everybody else is already at work, and somebody strolls in a half hour late. You're like, oh yeah, it must have been nice to sleep in today, right? We've already selected it. We've organized the information, and in terms of who they are, what they look like, what their values and beliefs are, and then we interpret it. What does that mean to us? What does that mean to me? But those 3 steps are all done internally. We don't have to talk to any about them. They happen quite quickly. They don't necessarily have to happen in order, but they just happen like in a flash, right? So I've selected the data I want to choose to focus on, and in this case, it's the person who's come in a half hour late. I totally negate being open to learning anything before that, anything that's running concurrently, and anything that comes after that. I am just focused on what I saw in that moment. I hope your brain is starting to tweak and go, geez, interesting, right? So here's the 4th step, the one that we suck at, but that if we were to engage with this step, we'd be able to conquer conflict a whole lot faster. And the 4th step is called negotiation. I actually need to engage with that person to validate what I see. That's why I say perception is not reality. It's a big lie until you have validated it. You have taken that last step and you have engaged with the person whom you have judged, because we all do it, to see if you're right. Now, it doesn't have to be difficult. And you'll hear it in the office like, oh, all right, look who's late again. And they might go, yeah, there was a bus accident, or there was a train, I couldn't get here. Or I had to stop and get these donuts for the meeting. And they give you the context without you actually really having to ask for it. And so if we don't ask, if we don't inquire, we'll never know. And we'll just keep going in our la-la land of what we think is right. And most of the time, we're not so good at that. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more about how that perception process can be put into practice for you, how that you might be able to explore this a little bit more deeply so that you can more accurately perceive things, so that your perception is not just a potential reality, but that you can actually say it is a reality, then give me a message here, or you can join the Conquer Conflict Facebook group. I do talk a little bit more deeply inside the group. And if you want even more work, you're looking to actually work with somebody one-on-one and get some mentoring, then I have the masterclass that comes up every month. And the next intake is for March 3rd. And there will be an application form for that. I'll post the link here below as well. So is perception reality? This isn't a magic trick. It's about a brain trick. It's rewiring the brain to recognize that we jump to conclusions and judge things without taking a moment to validate it. So when you validate it, then you can say perception is reality. But if you do not validate it, I will just call it potential reality. All right, guys, I just wanted to share that with you tonight because it was kind of something we talked about in the group, and I thought it was of value for you. And until next time, make it a great day.